The fact of the case can be summarized as follows. In 1988, third respondent was working as Chief Judicial Magistrate, Dorong, Mongoldoi. High Court received several complaints against him. State government also received complaints against him, which were forwarded to the High Court. A preliminary inquiry was conducted through registrar inspection and inquiry. Meanwhile, third respondent was transferred to Lakhimpur as Chief Judicial Magistrate. On the High Court on 6/10/1988 resolved to initiate disciplinary proceedings against third respondent and to place him under suspension. Accordingly, third respondent was placed under suspension by order dated 12/10/1988. Charges were framed against him on 25/11/1988 and copy of the same along with statement of allegations were served on third respondent, who on 9/12/1988 submitted written statement denying the charges. The High Court on 6/12/1989 considered the written statement, did not accept the same, and requested one of the judges to act as enquiry officer. The enquiry officer conducted enquiry and submitted report of the two charges framed against the third respondent. Charge number A relates to his conduct in having close intimacy with a temporary member of the staff in his establishment and the wife of a grade 4 employee in his establishment, and the visits of the former to his residence at odd hours, and his own visit to the residence at odd hours. The latter and his conduct in spending nights in her residence, specifically on two dates identified in the charge, and charge number B relates to his conduct in bringing a girl on the night with the assistance of a process server of his establishment and keeping the girl on the night mentioned in the charge at his residence for satisfying his lust. The enquiry officer held that charge number B and that part of number A relating to his intimacy with a member of his staff were not proved, but the latter part of charge number relating to his intimacy with the wife of a grade 4 employee of his establishment and his visits to her residence on the 2 nights in question were proved. High Court on 9/5/1989 considered the report and accepted the same and provisionally resolved that proper punishment would be one of dismissal from service and further resolved to issue show cause notice to the third respondent. He submitted explanation against the show cause notice. High Court on 14/8/1989 considered and rejected his explanation and resolved to recommend to the governor imposition of punishment by dismissal from service. Full stop.